She was known for her photographs, but no one knew about the 11 lives she'd once saved with nothing but her steady hands. And on that glaring, sun-white afternoon in Kunar Province, the truth returned faster than fear itself. The ambush erupted before anyone understood what the dust cloud meant. One moment the valley lay quiet under the burning Afghan sun, shimmering with heat waves. The next, gunfire cracked through the air like snapping bones. And Emily Carter, war reporter, unarmed, unwelcome, underestimated, was suddenly on her knees behind a fractured boulder, watching a Navy SEAL unit get pinned down in broad daylight. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Emily's breath shook. She'd covered war for 7 years, always with a camera, never a weapon. She wasn't supposed to interfere. She wasn't supposed to break the rules. Yet, as dust sprayed around her like angry bees, she could see the team leader, Lieutenant Mark Reeves, crawling wounded, trying to reach his men on the South Ridge. She had met him only once. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. The sun glared mercilessly on the metal scattered across the ridge. The SEALs were trapped between a ruin of collapsed mud walls and a dried riverbed, the worst possible choke point. Emily's heart hammered, and the moral weight crushed her. Do I stay hidden, or do I help? The rulebook screamed one answer. Her conscience whispered another. A ricochet clipped the camera hanging at her side, the lens shattering. The crowd of villagers who had been watching from the hillside gasped collectively, scattering back behind the stone terraces. Even the mountain goats retreated, sensing the violent shift in air. Emily crawled toward Reeves. They've got the high ground, he growled, pressing a bloody hand against his thigh. We're blind here. Her voice trembled. Tell me what to do. He looked at her. Really looked, as if weighing her soul. Then he pointed to a half-buried rifle beside a fallen Afghan soldier. If you pick that up, he warned, your life changes. She hesitated only for a heartbeat. The metal burned her palms from the sun, but the weight was strangely familiar. Once, long ago, she had trained. A life she'd left behind after a tragedy she never spoke about. She had promised herself she would never fire a weapon again. But promises break faster than bones on battlefields. She positioned herself behind a jagged rise, inhaling steady air. Reeves radioed coordinates. 3 shooters. East Ridge. They're fanning out. Emily, it's now or never. Her finger tightened. She exhaled. 1 shot. Then another. Then another. The daytime valley echoed back at her with each thunderous return, scattering birds into the sky. Dust lifted with every recoil, coating her arms and face, until she looked like part of the mountain itself. She hit the far left shooter, then the one flanking on the right. The third ducked, but not fast enough. Reeves stared in disbelief. 11 clean shots, he murmured. Minutes later, counting the cleared ridge. I've seen seasoned operators miss half of those. But Emily wasn't proud. She felt hollow, shaken by the life she thought she'd buried. The villagers stepped forward slowly, murmuring in awe, shielding their eyes from the fierce sunlight as they watched the SEALs rise and regroup. For a moment, the entire valley stood still, suspended between gratitude and grief. The SEALs moved across the battlefield in a sweeping wave, helping their wounded, securing the ground, filling the bright landscape with purposeful motion. Reeves placed a steady hand on Emily's shoulder. You saved us, he said simply. She swallowed hard. I broke every rule. No, he corrected softly. You followed the only one that matters. You protected human life. The weight in her chest loosened. The sun warmed her face again, no longer harsh, but oddly comforting. She knew the world would never hear her version of this story, and maybe it didn't need to. Sometimes courage wasn't loud. Sometimes it was just steady, because courage doesn't vanish. It waits, and it rises when the world needs it most. And somewhere in that same sun-blasted valley, where the truth first returned, her silence finally found peace. If this story touched you, let me know your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories told with heart.